Hi guys, so today we're going to speak to you about the exciting topic of electric cars, okay? We're going to really go into some detail around what the practical running costs are of an electric car.
Yeah.
What else are we going to talk about?
We're also going to talk about the practicalities of running an electric car and also the benefits of running an electric car.
Okay, so Mary, just for some background, drives our electric car 5 days a week doing the school runs and all the fun things that parents have to do. And I get to drive the car the weekend, so she's going to really offer some perspectives from somebody who drives our car every single day, okay? My name's Ken.
And I'm Mary.
Of the Humble Penny and Financial Academy. What we do on this channel is give you the tips, the insights, the practical hacks to help you work towards a dream life of financial independence and money joy. Cars are some of the most expensive things that we spend money on, okay?
Yeah.
So I don't even want to ask you what car you drive, and we've got a bit of a story we're going to share in a minute for how we got to become people who drive an electric vehicle. It wasn't our original plan, we just happened to have found ourselves driving one. We're going to explain in a minute. But cars cost us an awful lot of money, and any way you can find to save money in the way you drive your car or in any car costs you've got in general will most certainly help you towards saving better and getting you closer to that journey of financial independence, okay? Okay, so let's just dive in now and give you a bit of a background on why we even drive an electric car and how we come to become people who've been driving one for almost 3 years now. So babe, do you want to give us a bit of a background on kind of how we got to where we are today driving an electric car?
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny story. So it was Joshua's birthday. We were throwing a birthday party for him at the weekend.
Joshua's our first son,
by the way. So it was in a soft play place for the kids. We had like 30 children of his friends going, and it was going to start at around 4 p.m.
Yep.
So Ken had this kind of crazy idea on the day of Joshua's birthday party to take Joshua to the Audi dealership.
Yep.
We had an Audi at the time, so we were quite regularly would go there for servicing, whatever. And Ken would usually see these
model cars, remote control cars.
Yeah. So he thought on the day of Joshua's birthday party to take Joshua there to pick a remote control car.
As a gift.
As a gift, right? So as an additional gift even. So yeah, you guys went, and I was just keeping an eye on the time because obviously I knew we had to set up, we had decorations. We just needed to get there, and yeah, you just took your time.
Yep.
So anyways, I called Ken and I was like, babe, where are you? Like, you guys need to be home already. We need to be making our way to Joshua's birthday party. And you said, oh, babe, I'm in a bit of a problem.
Bit of a problem, yeah.
So do you want to tell us what happened?
So Joshua and I had basically driven the car, our Audi A4, so a bit of background for what car we had at the time. We used Audi A4, 2009 version. And this happened 3 years ago, so 2017. So we'd got to the showroom, driving towards the showroom, and here's the Audi showroom, about to drive in, and the car just gives up right there, just at the entrance of the showroom. I'm thinking, what's going on? We get out, the car would not start, the doors would not lock, nothing would happen. Anyway, go into the showroom, and cut a long story short, the engine of the car had basically gone entirely. And it was going to cost us £7,000 to replace the entire thing. And this is one of the big problems with driving these really expensive German cars, is that they cost you an arm and a leg. And at the time, because we'd had a used Audi A4 and we'd been driving it for a few years, the value of that car was about £5,000 at best. So it just made no sense actually trying to get this car repaired. So we basically gave up on our car at the showroom, and they had to call a taxi to take us home to go and attend my son's birthday party.
I had to go back to Audi to get our belongings from the car. And like, I know you shouldn't be attached to these material kind of possessions, but that kind of hurt my soul, having to take all our belongings from the car. We just had to part with the Audi. You didn't even get to say goodbye to it.
No, that was it.
Because you were at work, with us deciding what we needed to do. We were driving our family car, weren't we? And it was a diesel 4x4. And obviously, because I was the one driving every day, I was the one putting diesel in the car. And it was just not fun having to go to the petrol station, seeing the money going up constantly, but also the dial not even moving. So it just cost so much money to fill up the tank. I thought, no, this is not on.
You'd easily put £40, £50, £50 into the car. the school runs became super expensive, like
Extremely
unbelievably expensive.
Just seeing having to part with that amount of cash all the time, I thought, no, this is not on at all.
This EV thing for us was a very big departure from what we'd been driving before, and it's been a good lesson for us, not just for us actually, but our friends and family, because a lot of our family members drive pretty big cars, you know, mainly German cars, so Mercedes, BMWs, you know, really big expensive cars. So showing up, and I never forget what my dad said. I'm sure it was my dad who said this. He said to me, like, how can you be a CFO showing up in a Nissan? In a Nissan? I've never ever forgotten that, which took a big mindset shift for us anyway, moving away from that pathway that we were on before and really just going and making this electric vehicle a practical reality. And said to ourselves, right, what are we going to do now? We're tired of these expensive cars, which just costs us so much money. Can we try and be bold enough to buy ourselves something very radical and different that kind of flowed better with the way we were looking at our lives? And the electric vehicles, people were not really driving them as much 3 years ago.
No.
None of our friends most certainly had, nobody we knew had an electric car. We went from driving a diesel car to going full EV, so full electric vehicle.
Yeah.
And the choices we had were the Renault Zoe, the BMW i3 and the Nissan Leaf. The i3 did not work for us just because you couldn't put 3 people at the back, and we always had our grandparents coming around to, you know, babysit and stuff.
And the boot space as well was very small.
Very small.
Because we usually put our suitcases in our boots.
Yeah, for the holiday and stuff.
Bikes, yeah.
Kids' bikes. And the Renault Zoe just didn't work because we're a family of 4 and we just didn't think that worked. And Mary had the idea of this Nissan Leaf, which I thought was a bit, I don't know if it was nice enough, kind of looked nice enough. But then she was really right, because that car suited us the most. And we went for a used 2013 Nissan Leaf, which has just been the most amazing purchase. We've had it now for about 32 months, so almost 3 years. And we drive on average about 1,000 miles per month. So we've done about 32,000 miles. In fact, I just went to check. We started off at 16,000 miles and we're currently at 48, just over 48,000 miles. So we're going to use the rest of this video now to go into the numbers, okay, to talk to you about what the practical running costs are of driving that electric vehicle, so that you can consider them and see what savings we've made and how you could potentially have those savings yourself simply by changing the type of car you've got, or whatever really. But seeing this as something that's quite different, but one that has considerable benefits, okay?
Yes.
So let's dive in now and talk about the benefits. And later on, Mary, who drives the car a lot, will tell us about the practical day-to-day realities of driving an EV. So guys, over the last 32 months, so almost 3 years of driving our electric car, we've done about 32,000 miles. So that's about 1,000 miles per month of driving, which is mostly school run, basically, and maybe shuttling to church and stuff like that on a Sunday. Now, I'm going to give you the costs as though we were driving a diesel car, and then I'll tell you the actual costs that we've had by driving the electric car, and then we'll look at what savings we've had in the period of those 32 months, okay? Now, if we were driving a diesel car with 32,000 miles at an average cost of £1.30 per litre of diesel, I'm going to read this from my iPad, okay? We're going to make some assumptions so that we can get to the number of what it's cost us entirely, okay? So we're going to assume you can do 50 miles per gallon, okay? So a gallon is 4.546 litres, okay? So 1 gallon gives you 4.546 litres, which gives you 50 miles of driving, okay? So we're going to use that as our metric, okay? That means that 1 gallon would cost you £5.91, okay? That's £1.30 multiplied by 4.546, okay? Just get past some of the terminology, okay? So essentially what it means is that 32,000 miles would have cost us £3,782 and 27 pence, okay? That's what 32,000 miles would have cost us, okay? Which you work out, and I'll put up on the screen, as 32,000 divided by the 50 miles that you get per gallon, multiplied by the cost per gallon, which is £5.91, okay, which we worked out earlier, okay? That's how you work that out. Which means that the cost per 1,000 miles is £118.20, which is essentially the amount I mentioned before, £3,782 and 27p, divided by 32. That's how you get the cost per thousand miles, okay? Now that sounds like a mouthful, and this will make a lot of sense when we compare this now to the actual cost we've had from driving the Nissan Leaf over the same period of 32 months, over the same duration in terms of distance of 32,000 miles, okay? Now, electricity, which is what obviously the EV uses, is measured in kilowatts per hour, so kWh, okay? And one of the hacks we've had that's really helped us on this journey has been that every year we renegotiate the cost of our electricity.
Yeah.
And so we then buy electricity and we fix it with the provider so we can predict exactly what the cost of our electricity is, okay? Now, the kind of usage of electricity that we have comes from the company that has installed a unit in our home called PodPoint. I'll put us on the screen one of these units so you can see what they look like. So in front of our house, we charge our car every single day or every other day, okay? Now, I get a spreadsheet sent to me every single month, and I've added up what our usage has been for those 32 months, okay, to give you an idea, okay? So the unit of electricity that we use is 13.01 kilowatts per hour. That's what it costs us, okay? That's in pence, okay? So 13.01 pence per kilowatt hour. That's the cost of electricity, okay, with our provider. Now, so we use in the 32-month period 7,414 kilowatt hours, okay, which works out to be £964 and 61 pence. Think about that. That's £964 and 61p over 32 months. That works out to be, and get this, £30 and 14 pence per month of driving costs.
That's amazing. I used to put diesel that time when we were borrowing a family car. I think £40 every week minimum.
Yeah.
Was it even £40?
Yeah.
It was more than
it was some weeks. It was more than £40.
Yeah.
But let's just say an average of £40 back then, which is nuts when you think about it. The electric car for the 1,000 miles we drive every month costs us £30 and 14 pence. Okay, which over the 32 months, when you take the total I had before, £3,782 for the diesel, less than £964 of the electric, we've saved £2,817 over 32 months, which is about £88 per month, or just over £1,000 per year, £1,056 per year, which is insane when you think about it. And this is we're just talking about the electricity costs or fuel costs of running the EV. We haven't even looked at all the other benefits, which we're going to mention shortly, of driving the electric car. But economically, just from a kind of cash flow perspective, there is clearly a compelling case for finding, in our case, a used electric vehicle, which, by the way, worth mentioning, we paid for the electric car about £10,000, of which we got £1,000 rebate from Nissan when we bought the car. So it cost us in total £9,000, and we had the unit for charging at our home installed for free. Actually, I think we had to pay £97.
Okay.
I'll try and find the thing and maybe put it up on the screen later to have somebody come and do some wiring at home or something. But the actual unit was fitted for free and we had £1,000 rebate. So a car of net £9,000 is saving us on average £1,056 per year. Just think about that, which means that over 9 years, I mean, theoretically, and we've had the car for 3 years now, over 9 years, the cost of the car we paid for from fuel savings alone.
Yeah.
Which is just gobsmacking when you think about it. All right, so we're now going to look at what the other type of savings are that you can get from driving an electric car. Do you want to tell us what the other ones are, for example?
Okay, so one of the main benefits was that we don't pay any car tax.
Yep.
So when we had our Audi, we were paying around about £170 a year. But with an EV, it's zero tax.
Which is fantastic. I know that's a yearly cost, but I used to hate paying that car tax. I mean, and it's one of those things where you don't really expect it to come, and then suddenly the car tax expires and you have to pay for it. But with the EV, it's zero, but you still have to apply to get your zero tax benefit. You still have to do a bit of admin, which takes about 5 minutes, but you pay nothing for having an electric vehicle.
The next one is that we pay no congestion charge. So if we go to a congestion zone, our car is
London,
exempt. In London, we don't have to pay
Yeah.
because it's an electric car.
Yeah, and the parking in London's fantastic, by the way. I mean, I know we're talking about London specifically, but it's just worth mentioning that when we drive into London with an electric vehicle, we pay the minimum, which I think is about 80 pence. It's almost a token fee you pay. But the parking that we actually have in that part of London, typically at the weekends, we don't pay anything for at all. So what that's meant is that we tend to just drive into central London and go to the theatres and take the kids along. And it's just great feeling just being able to drive the car into town and enjoy some of the many amazing things there are in town, but paying no parking fees or paying a minimal parking fee for that benefit. So the next place we save money on with this car, this electric car, is with servicing the car every single year. Okay, so Nissan, very transparent. I'll put up on the screen so you can see for yourself the cost of servicing a minor service versus a major service at Nissan, for example. So with an electric vehicle, for a minor service, we pay £159 per year for that service, compared to a diesel cost, had we been driving our diesel car, of £249, okay? For a major service, it's £209 for an EV, and for a diesel car, it's £349 for a diesel car. You can also see the petrol costs in that picture on the screen. So you can see that servicing costs themselves are also quite significantly cheaper for driving an electric vehicle.
Okay, so the next one is insurance. Now with insurance, we've not really noticed a change in the costs of insurance with the EVs compared to when we were driving our Audi car.
And I think that's quite an interesting one, because I thought the insurance costs possibly might be more expensive because it's new technology, although you could argue that it might be cheaper, what have you, because it has less mechanical parts in it. But we haven't noticed a change in the costs of the insurance for this car. The thing I'd love to mention actually about insurance is if you're looking to maybe explore an electric vehicle, you're getting quotes for an EV, do make sure that you're comparing like for like. So don't compare, for example, the cost of a new electric vehicle to maybe the insurance you're getting on your current used car. So try and make sure that you're doing a like-for-like comparison in order to get a realistic quote for your possibly electric vehicle. Okay, so other cost savings that you might not ordinarily think about are things such as replacement of a cam belt that you might have, for example, for a normal diesel or petrol car, which of course you don't have for an electric car, for example. The thing to mention with electric cars and the batteries that electric car batteries are actually lasting a lot longer than a lot of people might have thought, you know, many years ago when these cars were being created. We've noticed ours, for example, our car is used and we're still using the same battery that came with the car, even 3 years after we purchased the car. So we're noticing that the replacement costs of the electric vehicle are absolutely tiny. In fact, the only cost we have every year is the service, which I talked about before. But when we drove a diesel car we always had something that was wrong with it. You know, some belt is broken or some, you know, oils, so many things needed to be changed. And those were additional costs that we were not expecting quite a lot of the time. Now, before we move on and talk about the practical day-to-day realities of driving an electric vehicle, I'd like to point out obviously that there are other costs of driving a car that we haven't mentioned on this video, such as depreciation or the opportunity cost of spending money on a car, for example. So we've kind of left those out because we've made this video to be focused specifically on the running costs of these cars, the actual cash flow, just so that they can help you make that initial decision on whether an electric car is something you might want to explore one day or not.
So I'm now going to talk about some of the practicalities of running an electric car, being somebody that drives the car 5 days a week. Okay, so the first one I'd say is the need to plan for long distance journeys. I say 90% of our journeys are pretty straightforward. We have enough range to get us from A to B and do multiple journeys a day. However, for those long distance journeys, it does require a lot of planning. We have to look at if there's any charging points on the other end. And also there's a chance that you actually might get to that charging point
and it's not working.
It's not working or it's not available. And so those are the risks involved when doing long distance journeys. And we've had those occasions sometimes when we've
Yes.
literally had like 0 or 1 mile left and we're searching, we get to the charging spot and it doesn't even work.
It's not working.
Or we get there and it's not even available. There isn't even one there. Like we've been given the wrong address and so there's a long way to go to have, you know, charging points in more places, but it's getting better.
And the law has changed actually from what I remember. I think, I don't know what year it is, but there's sometime in the very near future that the law should be that every petrol station is now required to have an electric charging point.
Yes.
So range anxiety is a reality, folks. You know,
it's real.
It's real. Like we've had range anxiety a few times, and it's like, and we've got kids in the car looking back. Our kids, they don't really understand fully like the realities of what happens. But you know, if the car ever, and it's never happened to us, if the car ever did stop anywhere, we've got AA cover or so roadside assistance. I should mention we've got roadside assistance. So that should help us. Although we've never ever had need for it, we have had range anxiety a few times.
But when we've done some long distance journeys, we've actually borrowed our family cars. So that's also one of the benefits that we have. I mean, you might not have a family member or somebody whose car you can borrow, and then you really do have to plan your long distance journeys very well.
Yes.
So the next one is the need to charge the car every day.
Or every other day.
Or every other day, depending on the amount of driving that you do. So especially during the weather conditions, for example, in the winter, we find that we use a lot more electric because we've got the heating blasting a lot. And in the summer, we have the aircon and it uses up quite a lot of electric. One thing that we do in the winter, we've just got loads of blankets in the car. So that limits, but still, there are times when the blankets just don't do it and you need the heating on. But that's one of the things that we do to eliminate the amount of heating that we use when we're driving our car.
The other tip as well is, rather than turning the heating on in the car, we turn on the heated seats, because these electric cars come with so many benefits. All the seats are heated. So rather than putting the actual heating on, a good way to kind of save money is just to turn the heated seats on and the heated steering wheel, which I love. When it's freezing, you just turn the heated steering wheel on, and that actually saves a lot more of the energy of the car rather than blasting the heating as well.
And the other one is just being disciplined and remembering to charge the car on a regular basis. So for us, that means just charging it every day, because on that one day when I might not charge the car because either I'm cold or tired and I just want to get in the house, something always turns up or comes up unexpected, like needing to pick somebody up
some
emergency and surprise, the car is not charged. We don't have the fastest charger, so to get a full charge it might take about 3 hours minimum. So there's that time factor. You just have to be disciplined to charging your car basically every day.
Add to that, sorry, we haven't mentioned this on this video, but we've got a charger at home which helps. So that means when Mary gets home or when I get home, literally in front of our house, or you know, we just plug the car in and the car just charges overnight. So that's a reality of it. And the government scheme out there, and I believe this scheme still is available, does offer to set these things up either for free or at a material discount to have these units fitted at home. So it just makes life so much easier. We never ever have to charge the car anywhere else. In fact, although more recently, when we went to Hackney once, more recently we had to stop off somewhere because we were quite low, and found one of the fast chargers that charged it in 30 minutes. Whereas at home, it takes us about 3 hours, at least, I'd say 3 to 4 hours, which is quite decent because we charge it overnight to get the car charged. But the technology of today's newer electric cars means that from what I understand, those cars charge even faster. But the key point of me raising this point is that, you know, having the charger at home means that you need some form of off-road parking for them to be able to fit the units at home. Otherwise, you'd have to find a charging point near your home that's reliable enough for you to go there more frequently to get your car charged as you need it.
And that's a good point. So to get the full benefits of running an EV, you ideally do want a charging point in your home, because with off-road parking is not an option of charging your car because of the wire, the cables, there's a trip hazard, and it's just not a possibility. But we have, like my sister-in-law has a electric car. She BMW, exactly. But she charges her car at work. And so there are quite a few companies where they've actually got charging points at their workplace, car park, if you do have one, and usually it's free to charge your car in those. And there's quite a few places like Audi,
we charge all the time at Audi, shopping
there's
centres.
Always charging points where you can just plug your car in and
And that's handy. Whenever we go to the shopping mall, we always plug the car in and it fully charges. And then when we come back, you know, and that's done for free as well.
That's done for free. Yeah. But just make sure, guys, that the car is actually charging, because we've had a situation where it was quite low, our battery was quite low, and we said, oh, let's just charge it while we do shopping and we eat out in Blue Water. So yeah, we were quite happy to just plug the car in, you know, charging for free. We got back from our shopping only to see that the car had not charged. But luckily we didn't live too far away, so we were able to drive home with little to none.
A bit of range anxiety, but we just about got home, okay.
And I'd say one of the benefits of driving an electric car is that there's zero emissions.
Yes.
So there's also this sense of well-being.
Yes, it just feels good.
It feels good, yeah. It's nice to drive. There's no noise.
No noise,
it's really
just
quiet.
absolutely silent. It's a beautiful car to drive. We just love it. It's by far the best thing we've ever bought, really. I mean, we just love driving the EV, okay? And I think I'd say go and give it a test drive if you're interested. Go and have a look for yourself. Choose which one matches your needs, obviously. If you've got family, choose the right car for it. And there is so much choice out there at the minute as well in the marketplace. And having a used electric car definitely offers you a ton more savings than trying to buy it brand new as well. And I'd highly recommend buying it from a dealership, because even with second-hand electric cars, you still get lots of perks, just like we did by buying from Nissan. We still had cashback, we still had the unit fitted at home for free, and we had warranty left over for a period of time, as well as free servicing for 2 years, which was fantastic. And that only came because we went to a dealership to buy the car itself. So
far, we've had no regrets whatsoever switching to EV, and I don't think we will ever switch back to anything else.
No, it's been fun, and we continue to love it, okay? Guys, I really hope you've enjoyed this video today. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Are you currently considering switching to an electric vehicle? And if you are, what's currently stopping you from doing that? If you're one of the people who are highly skeptical about electric cars, I'd love to know in the comments as well what your skepticism is about. Let us know in the comments. We'd love to kind of jump in there, catch up with you, and kind of talk about them, okay? If you really enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. It really helps to encourage other people to watch our videos and helps with the engagement of our channel. If you're new to our channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that bell button, because it helps to get you notified when we publish content every Tuesday as well as a Thursday. Guys, thank you so much. It's been fun hanging out with Mary and my wife, doing this video for you guys, giving you the practical realities of driving an electric car. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon on our next video. Take care and bye for now.
Bye.